morning, good afternoon, and good evening, wherever you are in the world, beautiful souls. I'm so happy and excited because yet another episode of the Truth Runners Talk Show. We continue our ride on Woman Rising, right at the power of becoming. And I'm really excited and grateful to have today as a guest Kirsten. Welcome to the show, Kirsten.
Thank you for having me. Lovely to be here.
Thank you. She's new to the Truth Runners Talk Show. So, guys, I would love to introduce her first so you know who you are, who I'm having as a guest. Also, if you are watching this live or in the replay, please in the comments just let me know from where are you tuning in. Send us some loves and likes. You know that I love that. That would be really amazing. If you have any questions as we are moving along with the conversation again, please feel free to leave them in the comments below and we're going to try to do our best to answer your questions, okay? So, Kirsten Smith, she's known as the heart opener coach, and I love that. She's a woman who walks through profound heartbreak and emerged with clarity, strength, and purpose. When her marriage ended, her world felt as though it collapsed around her. What could have broken her instead became the moment that opened her heart and transformed her life. Today, Kirsten supports women navigating breakup, separation, and divorce, helping them reclaim self-worth, emotional clarity, and inner strength. With a background in psychology, lived experience, and deep compassion, she guides women through the very journey she herself was survived. And that's a hell of a journey, and I would love to ask you, before we dive in, how are you feeling today?
Today I'm feeling really good, actually. I'm feeling every day I feel better and better. um, I feel strong and confident and peaceful, and I feel great.
Wow, that's wonderful, and I'm so happy, and I'm really grateful that you said yes to be one of the contributing authors to the book because you have a really powerful chapter. We are going to get there as well. We're going to talk about that. But first, I would love to ask you, when you look back to your life, okay? And I know your story, but let's just, share a little bit with the audience. I know that many women can relate. Kristen has a very powerful story, okay? So I would love to ask you, what period in your life changed everything for you?
You mean through this divorce, within this
Yes.
separation?
What was that it changed? It
Okay.
said, okay, I'm gonna shift. I have to shift.
It was a very clear moment for me when for me it was really the greatest, experiencing the greatest heartbreak of my life that was unexpected and uninvited, and quite came as quite a shock to both of us in a way. And so I think the first year I tried everything I could to make it work, to fix it, to save it, to do everything, but it was like this tsunami wave coming towards me that I couldn't stop it. And I think after months and months of trying to stop it, or just coming out of this denial and shock, the moment that changed everything is when I surrendered. I surrendered to it and stopped fighting and realized I had to choose me instead of waiting to be chosen. And that was the day when I realized only I can do that. No one else can do it for me. No one could save me. There was nothing anyone could do. I realized I had to go through this journey by myself, and I had to look within. So I
Oh,
think that was like the groundbreaking moment for me of actually starting to choose myself.
and it's amazing and impressive that you did that, right? Because many women get stuck, and you said, and we do that a lot of time, we try to fix, we try to make it work, we try to glue it together until, and it takes a lot of courage what you did actually, to say, okay, you know what, I'm not going to try to fix it anymore, but instead I'm going to choose myself. And that's what many women struggle, right? Because we are so conditioned to be the good wife, to do it no matter what, it doesn't matter what happens, you have to be the one who endures. So I really truly admire your courage, okay,
Correct. Yeah.
to take that decision, to make the step and to shift. What Inner
Well, sorry,
belief.
but just to be clear there, because it wasn't as clear cut, of course, I still tried to save it. I still tried to work. But in parallel, I started to choose myself. So I was almost operating in parallel. On one was still trying to fix, or at least fix him, help him. And on the other, on a parallel track, working on myself and choosing myself. So I was started growing and rising while in parallel still trying to save. And I think only now have I realized I can't save anyone. You have to save yourself. But as a woman, you're right, and as a mother as well, we have that nurturing instinct, and especially with I'm a very empathetic by nature and compassionate. So it was very hard to break, but it still took a lot of courage, even while in parallel of trying to save things, to start choosing myself.
I agree
Yeah.
with you, and that parallel, what you are talking about, let can we call it a transition or the transformation phase? It's a transition when the old you is there, the new is kind of, trying to find its way, and the two goes hand in hand like parallel at the same time. So there is that transition where you still try to fix, but at the same time you feel that, okay, I cannot fix it, but let's try one more time, when the old pulls you back, and but the new also, pulls you, come on, this way. And that's the transition phase, and I think that's not an easy one either, because that's the moment when you either choose yourself or you stay in the old and you will get stuck there. And again, it takes courage to get through this transition phase, right?
Correct. Yeah. And there were many times that I felt very stuck. And I almost kept on feeling like it was kind of two steps forward, one step back the whole time, because you're rising and then something will happen and you crash. And then, so the whole time, for about 2 years, I felt like I've been on a roller coaster, and I really don't enjoy roller coasters. So it was a feeling of being completely out of control. There was nothing I could do. You have to ride it. But within that roller coaster and within the entire journey, and every woman can relate, you have these ups and these downs. But as my healing started, as I started to connect more and more with myself and reconnect with my intuition, the lows, I started to recover more quickly from the lows. So it could still take a few days for sure, depending on what trigger it was. But and the spaces between them start to get smaller and smaller. And then it's about always pushing through. It takes so much courage. Every day takes courage to for a woman going through this, and as a mother as well. You have so much to balance and so much on your plate, and it's not just about you surviving. It's about keeping everything afloat. There's the mind space that it takes up. Never mind anything else, and the lack of sleep, and the struggling to eat, and the, maintaining a normal routine for our children. It's a lot. But however, in saying that, you find such strength and inner resilience that you never knew existed. And I think that every woman can relate to that in a way. And if as soon as you recognize that, you need to just dive into that and hold on to that, because you know you can do it. You know you can get through it.
That's true, and that's beautifully put, really, because we take on so many responsibilities, right? We do a lot of things. We are so many things for different people, and balancing that and balancing your inner journey, choosing yourself, but at the same time being there. It's there is this fine balance. There is this fine line. We can, okay. So what am I going to do now? What am I doing actually? And there are moments when you kind of, okay, yes, you are losing it, and then you rise. And I love what you said, that the more you grow, right, the more you connect or you reconnect with yourself, the faster you are able to rise again, because you are more self-aware, you have more knowledge about it. And with that being said, I would love to ask you, along the process, along this journey, okay, what inner belief what you had, or pattern you had to release? What was the strongest belief what you had to release in order for you to move on, to move forward?
Mm,
we
mm.
we all have those.
So many. Oh my God, so many,
So many.
so many come up that you didn't
Yeah.
even know you had. You suppress so much. So when you go through a divorce or a separation or this massive earthquake, so much comes up from your childhood, from this, from that.
Yeah.
Like you're dealing with so much. But it's the fears. For me, it was the fear of rejection was huge for me. Rejection by my own husband, the man I've been with for 12, 13 years. to suddenly not be chosen and not to understand it, and not just that was such a big one. And then the fear of being alone from that.
Yeah, that's a big one.
It's a huge one when you're with someone and you're such a unit. You know, I live away from family, and when I was going through this, I didn't confide in anyone because I wasn't sure what was going on. And I live in a small town. I didn't want people to talk about it. And I realized that we were such a tight unit. We did everything together. And suddenly it was about being alone and making big decisions on my own and looking after children on my own and doing all the firsts, you know. And the worry about the unknown of the future. So not just the present dealing with that,
Yeah.
but the future as well. So I'm dealing with the fear of rejection, the fear of unknown, the fear of being alone, terrified I was going to be alone for the rest of my life, you know, which now I believe is not true. Of course not. Um, but so there were a lot of, and also your confidence is completely knocked.
Exactly.
You're
Yeah.
crushed. Your ego, you have zero ego, zero confidence. You're literally building yourself up from scratch. It's like you're lit. I know I said it before, but you're literally down, and then from there, it's a magical journey because then you're breaking open and you're rebuilding because everything we need is inside us. And that
That's
was
true.
such an amazing discovery that I am holding all the secrets to make myself happy again.
Oh,
And
I
once I
love.
discovered that, yeah, it's beautiful. And that's what I want to share with other women going through this, that actually they've got everything they need. And as a coach, you're there to guide them and help them because I needed the guidance. I couldn't have done it on my own because you can't see straight. You know, there's so much chaos happening around you and so much going on. You do need someone to help you and guide you and give you that clarity and help you identify patterns and blockages and things like that. Because it is like moving through a swamp. But that's why, again, the more you connect with yourself and trust yourself and start to unlock your intuition, the more the mud turns into clear water, actually.
Oh, that's beautifully said, and I agree with you because, when you are in it, it's like your consciousness is like stuck. You can't really think clearly. You have, this like, the horses have those things, and you are
Yeah,
like
the
kind of
blinkers.
the blinkers. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So when you are in it, you can't really see, and that's why, when you have the courage and you're there, to ask help or even to talk with somebody, and you actually give yourself permission. You give yourself permission to crack open, as you said, because that comes with a lot of pain, with a lot of crying, and you have to be okay with that. But when you come out on the other side, let's put it that way, everything shifts, everything is different. And when you have somebody there, to help you, that's great. So I would love to ask you though, what made you decide that your personal journey was meant to serve others too? Because there are many women going through that, but they don't become coaches. They don't do that, but you instead you chose this path and you said, okay, I'm going to serve others. Why?
It, it's such a great question, but it was such a natural process for me. It wasn't a kind of decision. I had been thinking for quite a few years that I wanted to get out of the corporate world and I wanted to get back into psychology because I had a degree in psychology, and I didn't know how. And I work full time as well. So the thought of starting to study again, to refresh myself and to study for years before so, you keep postponing and postponing and putting things on hold. And then when this happened, the coach that I was working with, my spiritual coach, Anna, who's one of the contributing authors,
She's going to be my guest as well.
yeah, she's amazing. And I said to her, I phoned her one day and I said to her, Anna, I want to, um, as part of me, this whole process of cracking open and everything's changing. I have a very strong desire to change my career path and get into some kind of coaching. Can you recommend a course for me? Can you recommend anything? What I don't know where to start. What certifications? And she was like, she actually said to me, she's like, Kirst, she said, you are a coach. She said, you've been
Exactly.
doing this all your life. You've only just realizing it now. And she said, I can coach you. I can coach you to be a coach. And she actually started doing that on the side. And I'm still with her. And I realized through lived experience, I have all the tools because who better to talk to than someone who's been through it, not someone with 100 degrees.
Exactly.
Um, And it was such a because I had this, like I said, this natural drive to help people, because for me it was such a lonely experience, and when I was in the thick of it, I really wanted help. I needed help, and I couldn't find anything. I looked online, and I started following random strangers on Instagram to just see there was someone else who was going through what I was going through, because I didn't know anyone else. I was trying to look for books to read of other people's experiences, and I was desperate for like a community like this. And so once she said that, and I realized that I have all the tools already, it was such a natural fit. And I thought, wow, this is something I can do easily.
And that's beautiful that you recommended, and you choose this path, because at the end of the day, every woman, right, we are leaders, we are coaches. We don't call us ourselves like that, but we do. You know, we heal others, we talk to others, we are there for others. You know, we do a lot of things, and being a coach, like you call yourself the heart opener coach, and I love that. You know,
Mm.
and when you coach from lived experience, and I strongly agree with Anna when she said, you are a coach. You are. Because it's one thing when you have the degrees and you have the certificates, right? That's okay. That's just a plus. Maybe you can use the tools, but best is when what you are doing, right? What I'm doing, and many of the women you see in the group actually,
Yeah.
coaching, you know, serving others, helping others from lived experience is completely different. It
Correct.
comes naturally, right? And you can explain what you went through. You know, you can give the tools, you know, what you use for yourself, and it helps you. And that's the beauty of it. So I have to congratulate you that you chose this path, and I'm so happy that you did.
Thank you.
I'm no, really, I believe that the world now needs women like you know, like all of the ladies while we are working out together, because same, but not the same, right? And it's really needed, especially now. So,
Yeah, and I've always felt, I'm a nurturing character, like I said, and really deeply empathetic by nature. And even when I was managing a team of people in my corporate job, I realized that often our one-to-ones ended up being psychology sessions more than anything else, because obviously you bring your emotion to work, and that affects your performance. And so many over the years, so many people have come to me once they've left the company or whatever, and actually said how much I helped them. And I didn't even, you don't realize what you're
exactly.
doing. It comes so naturally, and it doesn't feel like work either. It's just who I am, who you are. And then when this path opened up, it just, like everything at the moment, I'm following my heart and my intuition. I don't know what is going to happen tomorrow, and I've learned I don't need to know. Like, I've detached from the outcome. I'm literally following my intuition every step of the way now. And this feels right. And if it feels right, I take the next step. And if that feels right, I go again. And so this coaching, and even the heart opener coach, I didn't really think long about the name. It just kind of came to me, and it felt right. And I was like, great, I'm going to go with that. Because when you have heartbreak, you close yourself up. And then the whole point is about opening your heart up for yourself, to fill yourself with self-love, which projects and broadcasts to the world. And the energy you vibrate is what you comes back to. So then the universe shifts everything around you, and that's the love is what comes back to you. But more than that, I have such a strong natural desire to for women to help women. And I have no ego on this part. I'm more than happy to build someone else up, so to watch them rise, because
Exactly.
you rise when they rise.
That's true.
And yes, and if someone has a success, I feel the success, but it's their success. So I I think people or women in this sphere have a very beautiful soul, and I've met such amazing people so far on my journey, like you even, and just doing and being contributing to this book. The women that are involved, there's something special about someone who chooses a path like this.
Oh, thank you. Actually, that brings me to my next question, really, because you are one of the contributing authors, right, to the book, and your chapter is amazing. But and we the two of us, we already had this conversation. So, if you want to share just in a couple of words, what actually made you say yes to being one of the co-authors of the book?
Well, I had did a degree. I had a double degree actually. I'd majored in two subjects with English and psychology. This was in South Africa where I grew up. And I then realized that I was too young and too inexperienced to go into psychology. It wasn't my route. So based on my English degree, I actually kind of landed up in advertising, and I became a copywriter. So I worked for many years as a copywriter in creative agencies, and I loved it, absolutely loved it. And eventually, it's another whole lifetime story, but how I got out of it. So writing is a passion of mine, actually, and it's so interesting how things go full circle. That now I'm going full circle back to my psychology roots, but actually holding on to my writing skills at the same time, and my creativity, which has always been a thing I just haven't had time for and been too tired for. And through this process, I can feel my creativity is rising at the same time. And when I was on Facebook one night, I think I'd posted something on my personal site, and I was just scrolling, and I don't often have the time, and I just saw an ad from you, and it was calling for these co-authors, and I actually scrolled past it, and then I came back to it. I was like, hang on a second, because I was looking for opportunities to combine my writing skills with coaching. And so I feel like, again, it was completely divine timing. There was something that I projected to the universe, and it came back to me in the most beautifully packaged form of a book. I mean, you can't make this stuff up. And then when I got in touch with you, I remember I messaged you and I said, "Is this
Is
authentic?
this,
Is
are you real? Are you for
a
real?
fake
I
ad?
remember.
Yeah, are you for real, or is this a fake ad?" Because I was like, "This is just too good to be true." And then, yeah, I mean, when I spoke to you and you explained the story behind it, it was an absolute yes for me.
And I'm so happy and really grateful and thankful that you said yes, because your chapter in the book is really, really powerful. Many women can relate to that when they read. And with that being said, guys, let me just remind you that the book is going to be released on the 20th of January. So stay tuned, because all the stories are so inspiring, so powerful. It's just amazing. And I cannot be, oh my God, thankful enough for all of you for writing those beautiful, powerful chapters. It's just raw truth, really. And just a thought about your psychology degree and writing, right? In life, we have, these puzzle pieces, and sometimes we don't understand why we do things, but then it's like all these kind of puzzle pieces that are coming together
Yes.
after a while, and that's beautiful. So I would love also to ask you, because you, me, all of us, right? We are on a journey of becoming, really. I think we are always becoming something new,
Yes.
someone new. We learn every day, we grow every single day. So if a woman who is watching us now or is going to watch in the replay, is on this journey of becoming and she doesn't really know, what would you say to her?
I would say don't be scared. Don't fear it. Embrace it. Let it come. If you feel something inside you, or you're going through a very difficult transformation, and it could be anything, I've realized. It could be a breakup, it could be a health scare, it could be a death of someone close to you, it could be a midlife crisis. Really, there's anything that these kind of catastrophic experiences that happen to you that feel so painful are there to redirect you back onto your path. It's like the universe's way of saying, hold on, let's get you back aligned to where you are. So don't fight it. Don't be scared. Once you start to, like I say, surrender to this process, you will start to discover the reasons why. Like you say, the puzzle pieces all start to fit together. You will not understand it at first, but if you just keep going, keep trusting the process, and always just being true to yourself, the puzzle will eventually reveal itself. And I agree with you. It's a lifelong journey. That now my this spiritual healing path for me, for sure, it's a lifelong journey, because we always evolve. We will always transform. There will always be something. And we might always go off a path and need to be redirected back. That's
But that's the
fine.
beauty of it.
Yes. And now we're conscious of it. Before, I was sleeping through my life. I feel like, really, I had a great life, but it was like, I don't know. I feel like now it's extraordinary. And now I'm like well into the second half of my life, and I'm committed to making sure it's the best half, because I feel alive, I feel awake, I feel more in tune with me. I feel like And for every woman who, like you say, who is becoming or is feeling this version of becoming, there is the version of who you are meant to be. It's all possibilities exist. You just need to keep following it, because we all deserve actually to live an extraordinary life.
I love the way you put it, really. And just don't be afraid, because what we are most afraid is, the unknown. Is, oh my God, what's gonna happen? So it's really just surrendering and listening to your intuition, and do it anyway. Because change is inevitable. It's gonna happen anyway, but it's really up to you what path you choose. I love that. What truth do you wish you know sooner, and how your relationship with yourself changed along the way?
That's very interesting. The truth is that I wish in the beginning, I wish that I knew everything would be okay. You kind of feel you don't know if everything's gonna be okay. It sounds crazy because of course it will be, but actually when you're in the mess, like you're in the deep dark traumatic stage of it, it's darkness. You're in darkness. You're like moving through a mist. If you have a shower and you're in a bathroom and you get out and it's just misty, you can't see anything. It's like that. And you just feel like, when will this end? And how will I ever get out of it? And when will I see the light? When will the mist clear? I wish I'd knew earlier that actually I can't save everyone. I can't save everything. I can only save myself. And if I'd started my healing journey earlier, maybe I'd be further on. But I've also accepted that everything happens for a
For a
reason at
reason.
the right time. I needed to go through that process. Yes, I needed to be in shock. I needed to be in denial. And then I needed to feel the pain. And then I needed to bring all the fears. And I needed everything actually. So I think it all happened the right way.
I love it. And I always say, that no matter what you are going through, it's pain, it's trauma, it was given to you for a purpose. It was always given to you for a purpose, for you to learn a lesson, for you to grow. Because this is this is the lived experience what we are talking about. This is how you are able, right, to share the experience with others. This is how we,
Yeah,
yes, it's painful. Yes, it's traumatic. Yes, you say, why me? Why this is happening to me? Because that's the first thing. Why me? Why is this happening to me, right? It can't be true. And then there's the fear. Oh my God, what's going to happen? But when you choose yourself, and I love that, I choose me, right? When you choose
yeah,
yourself and you finally give yourself permission to take care of yourself first, to change your relationship with yourself first, to reconnect with yourself, that is when actually everything is gonna shift. Slowly, slowly, it's a process. It's not gonna happen. Something they might happen, all of a sudden, but it takes time. It takes, this journey of healing, and you meet beautiful people along the way. Many women are
you
afraid
do.
that, oh, I'm gonna lose everybody along the way. You have to be okay with that. You have to be
Yes,
okay with losing people, but at the same time, I always say, I was afraid too. And I said to myself after a while, you know what? Those who are on the same frequency with you right now, because we grow, they will come. Those who outgrown you or you outgrown them, they will, and that's okay. So we have to be okay
yeah,
with that, right?
exactly. And actually, as the mist kind of lifts, you start to realize that you are shedding not just people and things, but shedding layers about yourself. And
True.
for me, at least, I started to find my voice and to speak my truth. And that alone is so powerful, because you lose your, well, I lost myself within my marriage, and as a woman and as a wife and as a mother. And I
Yeah.
think so many women can relate to that. And I want to be a mirror for other women, because you really can rise up, and you really do have the strength and the resilience to make it through, and not just make it through, to make it through
And rise.
and to rise. Yes, and to rise, and not just rise, to
To
transform. I
form.
mean, to absolutely be the person you want to be. And along that journey, like I was saying, when the mist starts to rise, that's when you kind of look right and left, when you take those blinkers off and realize, I've collected a few new friends along the way. This is
Yeah.
what happened to me. I suddenly realized, and they're amazing. And where have they been? I've never met them before. And then I suddenly accumulated a new wardrobe. And I was like,
Yeah.
I've shedded things, I've shedded clothes. It's like you just, and then you start to notice things about yourself. And it for me at least, and I think for a lot of people, it is micro actions and micro steps that happen over time, and slowly your world starts to open up again, and your heart starts to open up again, and then you see what is coming back to you, and it gives you the incentive to keep going forward. And it's so beautiful. It's like little miracles are happening all over, and once you open to it and conscious to it, it's it's quite a beautiful journey. I mean, now honestly I can say I'm grateful. I'm so grateful that this happened to me, because I feel like I am awake and participating in my life.
Oh, that's wonderful. Is that right? You guys, if you are watching again now or in the replay, feel free to ask any questions from Kirsten anytime or me, and we are open, to answer your questions. One more question before we close the live today. And again, I would just love to remind you guys that the book is going to be released on the 20th, so stay tuned. Um, what's the journey of becoming is going to look like for you moving forward? What are your next plans? Let's put it that way. What's the plan for the future? Or we just go with the flow.
Yeah, I'm just going with the flow. I
We
can't
just go.
think about the future. Only
That's it.
tomorrow. No, my goal is this right now, to work on this business, to grow my coaching business. This is my goal. This is my passion. This is my drive. This is my distraction, but it's also where my heart is, very much so. And I can see that everything else, it's having a ripple effect on every other part of my life,
Yes.
actually. So from this one focus, I'm becoming a better mother. I'm so content and happier within myself that my energy is shifted. I I feel that the more energy I put into this my coaching business myself, the more I'm getting out of it. So it's actually benefiting everything around me. And like I said, I don't know where it's going, but and I don't need to know, but it's
No.
growing and something's alive, and I'm following it, and I'm feeling the rhythm of it, and I'm moving with the rhythm. And I feel like it's going to be big, and it's going to be beautiful, and it's going to be rewarding. And I feel like it could change the lives of many people.
Oh, that's amazing. And thank you so, so, so much for sharing everything what you shared today. It was really a delight to have you with me
Oh,
today.
thank you so much for
Because
having me. It was lovely to be here.
I would love, love, love to continue this conversation. Maybe I think we can have another live later on Truth Runner's show, and we can discuss many other topics as well. It would be
Yeah.
really lovely. But for now, I would love to say thank you from the bottom of my heart for joining me today. And I would love to say thank you guys if watching wherever you are in the world. I truly appreciate you and I see you. Until next time, I'm sending you lots of love and light. Bye for
Thank
now.
you. Bye. Thank you.